Here is something that will completely change how you think about the moment of inertia. If you remove a part from a bigger body, then the formula of moment of inertia of that removed part and the bigger body as well as of the remaining body about the same axis will remain same. Yes, same formula but different mass. And once you understand this theorem, then the cut body problems will be super easy. So in this video, I'll be explaining this super property of moment of inertia, which is also called as mass distribution property of MOI. And it would help you to solve many complex questions with super ease. So let's just start this video right away.
In this video, we'll be discussing a very important property of mass distribution in moment of inertia. And first of all, I'll be defining it. So if the size of any object in any or all dimensions is increased in such a way such that its mass distribution about that given axis of rotation remains the same, then the expression for moment of inertia will also remain the same. What does I mean? That I'm explaining you with an example. That there is a square of side A and there is an axis which is passing through the center of the square like that. So the moment of inertia of this square about this same axis is m square. Let me write it. Let's suppose that the mass of the square is m and the mass of this cube is capital N. So the moment of inertia of this square is I is equal to m a square by 6. Now if I assume this square to be this cube to be formed of these squares which are symmetrically placed over each other like that. Okay, so this is the axis which is crossing this cube, and if I assume that these squares are arranged symmetrically over each other, then the total moment of inertia of the cube would be integration of the moment of inertia of each square. So I cube will be equal to integration of dm into a square by 6, where dm is the mass of each elemental square. Now I cube will be equal to a square by 6 integration of dm, and the limit of dm would be from 0 to m. So I cube will be equal to m a square by 6, where m is the mass of this cube. So you can see that the formula of moment of inertia for this square and for this cube is same, and it is due to the fact that this cube can be assumed to be formed of many such same dimensional squares which are placed over each other symmetrically. So the moment of inertia formula for each square and for this complete cube would remain the same. Now let us consider another example, that there is a disk. You can see that there is a disk of mass m, and there is a slice of this disk of mass m dash. So you can consider that here would be that slice like that, and you can consider that this slice is removed from this disk. But if we write down the moment of inertia formula of this disk about this axis which is passing through the center of the disk, then it would be m a square by 2 or m r square by 2, where r is the radius. So this is m r square by 2. Now similarly, if we find out the moment of inertia of this small part of this disk, then the formula would remain the same, and I can say that the moment of inertia of this sector would be m dash r square by 2 about the same axis which is perpendicular to the plane which is passing through this point. Now, the value of moment of inertia would be different due to the fact that the mass of the disk and the mass of the sector would be different, but the formula of moment of inertia is same. You can see that. Now, let us take one more example. Now, there is a semicircular disk you can see whose radius is r. Now, we have to find out the moment of inertia of this disk about this axis. This is axis 2 and this is axis 1. So we can see that for a complete disk like that, the moment of inertia about this axis which is passing through the periphery, this is 2 and this is 1, can be obtained by applying parallel axis theorem, and I1 is equal to m r square by 2, and the distance between axis 1 and 2 is r. So I2 would be equal to m r square by 2 plus m r square. So I2 would be equal to 3 by 2 mr square. This is the moment of inertia about axis 2. Now similarly, if we cut this disk into two parts, then the moment of inertia of the upper half part about the same axis 2 would remain same, considering the fact that mass of the upper half part is m dash. So the formula would be m dash, in fact 3 by 2 m dash r square, and this formula will remain same as was for the complete disk. Now we can cross check this formula also. So let us derive this value of I2 for this half disk by some other method. We know that the center of mass of this disk is at a height of 4r by 3 pi. So this is COM. And let's suppose this is x. So this is 4r by 3 pi and this is r. We know that the parallel axis theorem is applicable from center of mass. So let us first of all find out the moment of inertia of COM of this half disk about its COM axis. So this is axis 1, this is COM, and this is 2. So we can apply the parallel axis theorem between COM and axis 1. So axis 1, the moment of inertia about axis 1 can be equal to ICOM plus m into 4r by 3 pi whole square. So this is the moment of inertia about this axis 1. So ICOM is equal to I1 minus m dash into 4r by 3 pi whole square. Now we know that the moment of inertia of the semicircular disk about this axis I1 would be equal to the moment of inertia would be same as in the formula for the moment of inertia for the complete disk. So the formula for moment of inertia of complete disk about this axis is equal to m dash r square by 2, and this is minus m dash into 4r by 3 pi whole square. So now let us find out the moment of inertia about I2. So I2 would be equal to ICOM plus mx square, m dash x square. So I2 would be equal to ICOM, which is m dash r square by 2 minus m dash into 4r by 3 pi whole square plus m dash x square, where x is equal to r square plus 4r by 3 pi whole square. So you can see that this term m dash into 4r by 3 pi whole square would be cancelled out, and therefore I2 would be equal to m dash r square by 2 plus m dash r square, which is also equal to 3 by 2 m dash r square. So we have already discussed that the moment of inertia of this semicircular disk about this axis 2 would be 3 by 2 m dash r square, and this formula would remain same for the complete disk also, which is also 3 by 2 mr square. But mass of the complete disk cannot be equal to the mass of the half disk. Therefore, the value of moment of inertia would be different, but their formula would be same. So this was the important trick, or you can say the important property of moment of inertia, which would help us in many questions to do them faster. Thank you.